As we have seen, the beauty of Aurobindo, that even in the highest heights and the deepest depths, he does not forget the smallest. He as if holds them together. And several places we will have occasion to see this. Here again, while he is speaking about the inner being of Savitri, and as she rises to share that work, Aurobindo brings us back to focus on the day, on that fateful morning when Savitri wakes up. And how she wakes up, comes back from her sleep. At first, life grieved not in her burdened breast. On the lap of earth's original somnolence, inert, released into forgetfulness. Every night when we go to sleep, our consciousness withdraws into the inner worlds, and we enter into a state of inertia. Now, in a state of inertia, there is no pain, no remembrance. There is a state of total forgetfulness. Now, if running away from pain and escape is the only requirement, then this is one seeming door of escape. Every night we escape through sleep. But that is not the issue. The equality of the sage and the seer is not the equality of the stone. A stone is inert, indifferent. A seer sees the depths. His equality is born of a deep vision of the divine. It is born of a deep love, of a deep compassion, of a deep wisdom, which sees the one and his play with the myriad many. That is the equality of the seer. The equality of the stone, if we may say so, or the indifference, is inertia, insensitiveness. It is something hard, something which does not care because it does not feel. We have to guard ourselves against that. The mother spoke about a particular group of humanity, section of humanity. She says, they don't have a psychic being. And how she says they don't have a psychic being? She says because they don't feel, they are insensitive to pain. She says their own and in a vicarious way to the pain of others. And therefore, this section of humanity at one time devised the worst kind of tortures. Now, this is not the equanimity in which he wants us to rise. Again, we see the background: universal love, universal strength, a deep wisdom. That is the equanimity, full of joy, full of peace, full of understanding of human pain. But now he is describing what happens in a state of inertia. At first, life grieved not in her burdened breast. On the lap of earth's original somnolence. Why we sleep? Because there is the inconscient at the back, original somnolence. It draws us again and again. Inert, released into forgetfulness. Prone it reposed, unconscious on mind's verge. What a marvel, everything is so perfect. Unconscious on mind's verge. It's all there below. But the mind knows it not, is not aware of it. Obtuse and tranquil like the stone and star. He is cautioning us. Even stones have a tranquility because they are inert. In a deep cleft of silence, twixt two realms, she lay remote from grief, unsown by care. Nothing recalling of the sorrow here. So pain and sorrow comes in the middle of the journey. Below the animal start, there is no pain, there is no suffering. With animal life comes pain. The stirring of life brings pain. The stir of mind brings grief, conscious suffering along with it. And of course, evil. And when man passes beyond the mind, once again pain and suffering will have no more necessity to exist. So, here he is telling us about it. Then a slow, faint remembrance, shadow like moved. And sighing, she laid her hand upon her bosom and recognized the close and lingering ache. This is the pang divine, the divine suffering in a human mask, knowing what it means to be human. And recognized the close and lingering ache, deep, quiet, old, made natural to its place, but knew not why it was there, nor whence it came. So she feels the ache in her bosom. But still the full senses and the mind has not yet come back. See the stages of sleep. Utter forgetfulness. Next step is some kind of a vague sensation stirs. The life force is beginning to run, but the mind is not yet kindled. She recognizes the ache which she has kept in some part of her being, not disclosing it to anyone, made natural to its place. The power that kindles mind was still withdrawn. Heavy, unwilling were life's servitors, like workers with no wages of delight. The servitors of life, the senses. When we are caught up in a mechanical state, the other day we were talking about that how at every detail is so marvelous that when we are under the grip of this state, which normally we experience for a very brief while when we are coming out of sleep, then we don't feel joy. Heavy, mechanical were life servitors. They just make us move mechanically like a zombie. But how? Without wages of delight. What is the wage that life gives to us? It's so interesting. We talk about wages and we want to earn. But there is a wage that life gives if we respond to it rightly. It's the wage of delight. And for that, fortunately, we don't have to work so hard. Apparently, we look at a flower, we breathe a nice fragrance, we look at the sky, we imagine a sea, we think of something beautiful, a generous act, a little rose. Mother has spoken about it. Someone asked, Mother, I am depressed, what should I do? She says, look at a rose. What is remedy? Look at a rose. And when we see that how in the middle of thorns, he is still full of beauty, fragrant, delightful, giving itself generously. It is not bothered that I am surrounded by thorns all around. It is going about its task generously, spontaneously, frankly, equal to everyone. That is liberates us from our smallness which brings suffering. But for a brief moment when we wake up, we experience that subconscious state when the life's servitors have not been given wages. Every morning they are given wages that today you will live. I am giving you this much wage, wages of delight. Like workers with no wages of delight. In fact, one sentence is so profound. I mean, Mother says when you do something, you should do it with joy, otherwise don't do it. Because that's a sign of the divine response in the being. If we do something just mechanically because you have to do it, we may think we are doing something very great, very good. But actually, something is wrong, something is amiss. The being is caught in some narrow egoistic movement, or some mechanical subconscious mind is overpowering us. The sign that we are responding to life is that we feel that joy. Sullen, the torch of sense refused to burn. The unassisted brain found not its past. Only a vague earth nature held the frame. Such profound occult truths Aurobindo is revealing in just one passage of Savitri's sleep. What holds this frame together? It's a small question which sometimes we wonder, because all earth is essentially one. What is there in earth nature which holds the frame together? And when we die, this frame disperses automatically. Every day we sleep. But we have never heard that somebody slept for 4 days and while he was sleeping, all his body elements got into the mud. But when we die, it happens. It's a very interesting thing how the earth nature provides the frame, the support. Only a vague earth nature held the frame, but now she stirred. Her life shared the cosmic load. The Lord wakes up, we also wake up. Looks like, after all, it's a waking up. We wake up to our small little problems, to our small little joy. The Lord wakes up with the load of creation. That is his waking up. At the summons of her body's voiceless call, her strong, far-winging spirit travelled back. Back to the yoke of ignorance and fate. Back to the labor and stress of mortal days. Lighting a pathway through strange symbol dreams. Across the ebbing of seas of sleep. The seas of sleep. In the Gita, Sri Krishna is asked by Arjuna a very practical question. He is a very practical person. So he says, okay, don't tell me philosophy. Tell me what is the sleep of a sthit pragya. How does he sleep? How does he speak? How does he walk? Don't tell me that, all that inside stuff. Sri Krishna is very busy. It's a war time. If he starts speaking all this, so he says, he omits the question. He doesn't talk about it at all. He speaks about the inner state. He speaks about desires entering into him like an ocean with no response. Apurnimadam machalam pratishtham. He doesn't speak about how he speaks and how he sleeps. So that was a question which was unanswered. Aurobindo answers us. Okay, that time, Arjuna, I had no time with me. Battlefield was on. How could I answer to you all about sleep and talk when Dronacharya and Bhishma and Duryodhana are pining with their arrows? So now I tell you what is the sleep of the immortals. How does he walk? Aurobindo, at one point, speaking of Savitri, she says, immortal rhythm swayed in her time-born steps. How does he walk? Because we want to know that. What was the voice when Aurobindo spoke? So there he also speaks about her voice, which brought high destinies down. Later on, Aurobindo will talk to us about when Savitri spoke, what she was doing. It was not just speech. She brought high destinies down and fixed it upon earth. When she said, never for an instant vacillate in the belief that the work undertaken by Aurobindo will not end in success, she fixed the destiny. If there was any doubt, it will no more be there. When she said Aurobindo's birth is an eternal birth, it will be remembered for all times to come. She was not uttering a sentiment. She fixed it because this was the truth and she saw it. Some of us may doubt. It's a holy sentiment. And if we doubt, we have to just see. We don't know when Savitri was born. We have no records outwardly of her, whether this were her parents or somebody else. Which era did she belong to? Tens of thousands of years have passed. The names of dynasties have come and gone. Great empires, civilizations. We read ancient records, civilization. Byzantine Empire was there. Mayan civilization was there. They have come and gone. We don't know who were the kings and emperors. But her name ran murmuring on the lips of men, and till now it echoes and re-echoes in the depths of our soul. Such is Savitri. What made her name last? We can't imagine. There are not days when we had printing press and announcement, there was no propaganda, no TV, no group of disciples to say, here is Savitri. And yet, her name is still there. What makes the name of Rama, an ordinary king, last? Ordinary to the human eyes. Even of a monkey, immortalized by his touch. The empire that crucified Christ is gone. Many people don't even know who was the Roman king. In fact, Rome's empire is gone. But Christ is immortalized in the heart of humanity. This is the divine's ways. And here he is speaking about the sleep. What happens in sleep? She would go far, winging spirit would carry her to her immortal worlds. Aurobindo has written somewhere, the mother's sleep is not like ordinary sleep. In her body's sleep, she goes to the other worlds and works there. Our ordinary sleep is Earth's original somnolence. Every night we take a dip into the inconscient sea and feel very nice. Oh, we have reconnected ourselves to our roots. Divine's roots are Ashwatha tree. So he goes back, far winging spirit. And when she comes back each time, she makes even that is an action. She makes a pathway. At the summons of her body's voiceless call, her strong, far-winging spirit travelled back to the yoke of ignorance and fate, back to the labour and stress of mortal days, lighting a pathway through strange symbol dreams. Mother has spoken about it at great length, about how she worked to make herself fully conscious of the nights. And she tells us it's a whole discipline to become aware of the dreams and be conscious of the night. Across the ebbing of the seas of sleep, her house of nature felt an unseen sway This is down to the perfection of the minutest detail. When the being goes out of the body, re-enters it, it enters with a thud and it's felt like a sway. So the Lord has not left any detail missed out. He has literally described the whole process, comes back and enters with a sway. Her house of nature felt an unseen sway, illumined swiftly where life's darkened rooms, and memory's casements opened on the hours. It's not description at all. The mother has actually said, and now scientists talk about memory as being like a pigeonhole in different sections, casements, literally. And they open. We can choose to open this or that casement. So here, and memory's casements opened on the hours, and the tired feet of thought approached her doors. All came back to her. Earth and love and doom. All with a capital. Earth. Not humanity. Earth and love and doom. Earth has to be saved. Earth is the field of a great strife where love and death wrestles. It's very interesting that why in this poem Sri Aurobindo has pitted love against death. Why not life against death? Well, love is the power divine that unites all creation. And death is the power that divides and fragments everything. And the last thing that it divides is the creation from the creator. That's why we see death when it fails in all its arguments. Finally it says, okay, you have a God, I understand. I don't know him, maybe there is a God. I am not going to argue with you. You are too argumentative. Savitri is like the modern child, She's not going to give up. Tell me the reason, tell me the reason, tell me the reason. So she's not only reasons, she says, I will, I love, I see, I act. So death tells her, okay, fine, but know also, knowing thou shalt cease to love. So he says, okay, I shall know when I have loved fully. She gives a very interesting argument. She says, I shall know, but not your way of knowing. By this analysis, I shall know only when I have loved. In the end also she says, when she is asked, what change in you we notice? What is that light on your face? You seem to have gone and fought a great battle and won it. What is the secret of all this change? Savitri, a paragon of divine humility. We see in the life of Sri Aurobindo and the mother that she does not say, don't you know, when Satyavan you were dead, I had a great issue with death. I am the one who has saved you. Even if we take somebody to the hospital, we remember all our life. And we take credit. Whereas nobody should take credit, not even the doctor, because he gave some medicines which somebody discovered somewhere else. Even practically if we see, nobody deserves the credit. If anybody deserves the credit, is the man who really discovered that medicine by whatever chance or accident. We don't even know his name. Doctor only gave the medicine. He takes the credit and the money and everything. When Savitri is asked, what is her reply? What is the secret of all this? Awaken to the meaning of my heart, that to feel love and oneness is to live. By this criteria, we are all dead. Indeed, we are dead because we live by death. To live by division is to live by death. To live by oneness is to live. So Savitri says, what secret I have learnt, which has made me full of this delight, which you see as light on my face. What yoga I have practiced? The rishis are asking her, tell us, who is your guru? What yoga have you done? What pranayama technique? You have done some pranayama, I know that. What way you meditate? Do you meditate in the heart or the head with which mantra? Tell me precisely. Savitri says, I don't know about all that, but I have one secret which I can share. Very simple secret. Awaken to the meaning of my heart, that to feel love and oneness is to live. Such a profound thing. All life is one. When we forget it, death makes us forget it. We die each moment. Swami Vivekananda says in one of his passages, when you live as a universal being, you experience joy also universally. Everybody's joy becomes your joy. And of course, everybody's sorrow becomes your sorrow. And this, the magic of our golden change, is all the truth I know or seek, O sage. I don't seek any other truth. I don't need to know any other truth. This is sufficient. This love is the secret of my change. So here, love comes back to her. Because love has found, later on in the next canto, Aurobindo will tell us, in her he found his own eternity. Someone has to be very vast to embody love. That's why in the Vedas we have Varuna and Mitra as close friends. And when the rishis invoke Varuna, they invoke Mitra. Varuna is the lord of vastness and Mitra is the god of love. In a lighter vein, we may add, but semi-lighter and a semi-serious vein, how Nolini Da and Amrit Da were always seen together. Love and vastness. It's that love which comes back to her, love with a capital L. But along with that, the challenge against love, doom comes back. You will embody this love? No, not for earthly creatures. On earth, no chance. I will not allow. Doom will not allow love on earth. Somewhere else, these flowers of paradise can bloom in paradise. Don't bring it to earth. There is a punishment. If you bring heavenly things on earth, Prometheus is bound for the vultures to eat. Krishna, of course, brings Parijat and plants it on earth. He says nothing doing, though he initially tells Satyabhama, don't ask for this. This is not a very good boon you are asking. Savitri embodies that love, and doom comes and says, on earth, this love, immortal love, divine love, oneness, no way. It is my house, it is my field. I divide, I destroy, I disintegrate, I death am king. All that comes back to her. The ancient disputants encircled her. All came back to her, earth and love and doom. The ancient disputants encircled her like giant figures wrestling in the night. The Godheads from the dim inconscient born awoke to struggle, and the pang divine. Divine suffers. He suffers the load of creation. Sri Krishna again speaks about it. He says, Arjuna, know that in these body, these asuras torture and despise me. It is I who suffer in these bodies. And one wonders, how can God suffer? Isn't it transcendent? Can we for a while put ourselves in a place that He wants to plant on this soil the flower of divine love? And we, His earthly children, reject the boon, repel it with hate, crucify Him, turn Him away, tell Him we don't want this, give us human love is very good. No, animal love is better. Human love is already something becoming difficult. Divine love, no, no, no. What is the joy of divine love? I want a very personalized, possessive love. That I enjoy. We read here, what is offered to the daughter of infinity, her passion flower of love and doom she gave. Earth offers it. That you want love, this is the love I know of. Love where it walks arm in arm with doom. Take it. And she takes it and keeps it. Like giant figures wrestling in the night, the godheads from the dim inconscient born, awoke to struggle and the pang divine, and in the shadow of her flaming heart, at the somber center of the dire debate. Who is at the center of the debate? Who will decide who is going to win? Love and doom are going to wrestle now. She is got up. And who will be the judge? Death says, I will choose the judge. If you have God as judge, obviously He will pass a judgment in your favor. So who is the judge? Inconscient sits on judgment. I will decide whether you are worthy or not. Already he is a biased fellow. Not just biased, he knows no other judgment. He knows only the harsh penalty of man's hopes. He knows only to inflict pain. He knows only grief and tears. He has no place to delight for life, for love. He knows nothing else. It's like, imagine if you go to court, even our courts are a good reflection of that. You go to court and say, I feel like this. Say, no, no, don't talk about feelings. Tell about facts. Try to go and tell in a courtroom, I felt like this. No, no. Have you documented it on paper? No, sir. Document it that you felt like that. And then another witness will ask, how are we sure that you felt like this? So there will be a big debate. They will shred feeling to pieces. And you won't know what to say, where to go. Inconscience throne keeps safe its rule, which is actually a misrule. Aurobindo will talk about it in the worlds of falsehood. So, who is sitting at the center of the dire debate, at the somber center of the dire debate? A guardian of the unconsoled abyss. Savitri will confront this unconsoled abyss. When she goes in search of her soul, she will meet the man of sorrows and he will say, I am your soul. What you are talking of, God? There is only sorrow. Man is meant to suffer. Man has no question of delight, no question of love. Inheriting the long agony of the globe. When we suffer, we don't realize that we actually make the load of creation heavy. How's inconscient fed? How does it grow? It's already infinite. Every time we suffer, we add few more drops of poison and we actually increase the work of God. We don't realize it. We want to help Him in His work. Nalnida has said very beautifully in one of his reflections. He says, every time you are bitter, you increase her work. A bitter consciousness does not taste good to the divine. It's like, we were to offer somebody a sweet. And what we do is we purposely add all kinds of bitter things and say, eat it. That is the kind of offering we make to the divine. Our bitterness, our sorrow, our suffering increases the load of creation. And every time a soul is happy, a being is happy, it reduces the work. That is why when Dara came to mother and asked, Mother, what work shall I do? Mother said, be happy. He said, Mother, any other work? No, be happy. After 3 days, he came back and said, Mother, this is very difficult. Give me some other work. That is the best gift we can make. She says at one place, be simple, be happy, do your work as well as you can, keep yourself always open towards me. That's all that is asked of you, nothing more. My blessings. Really, when we are happy, we reduce creation's load, we help the divine. And every time we are sad and depressed, we increase her work. And that is how, inheriting the long agony of the globe, he's inherited the agony of the globe. A stone still figure of high and godlike pain stared into space with fixed, regardless eyes. That is another kind of equality. Stared into space with fixed, regardless eye. Death is like that. When we read the arguments of death, it has absolutely no feeling at all. Regardless eyes. That saw grief's timeless depths, but not life's goal. Afflicted by his harsh divinity. Even here, Aurobindo sees there is a divinity in that, which much later he will elaborate at great length, what hides behind the mask of inconscience and pain. Afflicted by his harsh divinity, bound to his throne, he waited unappeased the daily oblation of her unwept tears. All the fierce question of man's hours relived. The sacrifice of suffering and desire, earth offers to the immortal ecstasy, began again beneath the eternal hand. Earth sacrifice offers to the immortal ecstasy all its agony, all its suffering, all its desire, so that one day delight can take root upon earth. Right now we have desire and its natural consequence, suffering. And earth is constantly offering it, constantly offering it. Aurobindo speaks about the secret of pain and suffering, that it is to prepare us for a greater ecstasy, for a greater delight. But that sacrifice doesn't go high. The immortal ecstasies don't open their doors. So the eternal comes and says, okay, I will do the sacrifice. In place of man, I will suffer and offer the sacrifice so that it can reach up to the heavens and bring high destiny down. The sacrifice of suffering and desire, earth offers to the immortal ecstasy, began again beneath the eternal hand. So now she wakes up. Awake, she endured the moment's serried march and looked on this green, smiling, dangerous world. What a complete description. Green, smiling, dangerous world. And heard the ignorant cry of living things. Amid the trivial sounds, the unchanging scene. Now the description is complete. Everything comes back to her inwardly, and she hears the ignorant cry of living things. And there are the trivial sounds of the daylight. There are the unchanging scenes that we experience every day we get up. This is the master artist completing his picture. Awake, she endured the moment's serried march and looked on this green, smiling, dangerous world, and heard the ignorant cry of living things amid the trivial sounds, the unchanging scene. Her soul arose, confronting time and fate. She is ready to confront. She's woken up now, that dawn. How does she wake up? Immobile in herself, she gathered force. The power of immobility. The mother speaks about it. Immobility has a great power. It has a power to demolish an entire army. Aurobindo gives this example of Rishi Vasisht. We have this in the Bhagavad, where in the Puranas, where he places just a stick and refuses. He doesn't directly go and fight, but a whole army is defeated. The power of immobility. Immobile in herself, she gathered force. This is the way we should wake up. Immobile, gathering herself in her and gathering ourselves into her. This was the day when Satyavan must die.